Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I will take roll. I, Chairman Jeffrey Hildebrand, am present. Commissioner Abel?
Present.
Mr. Doggett?
Present.
Mr. Foster?
Present.
Mr. Patton?
Present.
Mr. Rowling?
Present.
Thank you. This meeting is called to order March 27, 2025 at 9:06 a.m. Before proceeding with any business, I believe Dr. Jaskowitz has a statement to make.
Public notice of this meeting containing all items on the proposed agendas has been filed in the Office of the Secretary of State as required by Chapter 551 Government Code, referred to as the Open Meetings Act. I would like for this fact to be noted in the official record of this meeting.
Thank you. First is the approval of the minutes from the commission meeting held January 23rd, 2025, which have already been distributed. Is there a motion for approval? Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, no motion carries. Next is the acknowledgement of the list of donations, which has already been distributed. Is there a motion for approval?
So move. Foster.
Is there a second?
Abel, second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Next is the consideration of contracts, which have already been distributed. Is there a motion for approval? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Now for the special recognitions, retirements, and service award presentations. Dr. Jaskowitz, please make the presentations.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. This is, as I say every meeting, one of the best parts of our commission process, recognizing the great work that the staff have done to support the mission of the department and to serve Texans in all 254 counties and visitors to the state. So today we'd like to start off by recognizing a couple of retirees. The first is Judy Ahrens, whose career with the department began in January of 1996 as an hourly clerk in the State Parks Regional Office in Caldwell. In September of 2017, Judy was promoted to a purchaser in the Purchasing and Contracts section. Judy was recognized as a recipient for the Customer Service Employee Recognition Awards program in 2024. Judy understood that her customer service began with TPWD staff in the field and at headquarters. She was passionate about providing assistance to her colleagues, helping carry out their tasks on a daily basis. She used her skills and knowledge to assist the agency to manage and conserve the natural and cultural resources by procuring agency needs for commodities and services. Judy was an outstanding asset to this agency in her role as purchaser. Retiring with 29 years of service, Judy Ahrens. Marnie Francel began her career with Texas Parks and Wildlife Department in February 1st of 2005. Marnie worked in the archaeology lab until her retirement at the end of January of this year. Over the course of 20 years, Marnie cataloged millions of artifacts, excavated countless units, recorded hundreds of archaeological sites, and educated innumerable park visitors and school children. Her dedication to the stewardship of cultural resources across the state park system and beyond is unwavering. She has a knack for tracking down the most obscure artifacts, such as a jam jar manufactured in France and found at the Albert and Bessie Kronkowski State Natural Area. During her research, Marnie discovered that the company is still in business. She connected with the French owner and, through Google Translate, discovered that the company logo on the jar had not changed in over 100 years. The Texas connection made a splash across French media. While this artifact was a media sensation, Marnie dedicated her career to ensuring that every artifact in the TPWD collection was given the same level of care. retiring with 20 years of service to Texas and the department, Marnie Francel.
Perfect. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 1 more.
1879.
1879. Next, we have our service awards. Yanira Lacio started her career with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department on December 12, 1999, as a Clerk 1, where she provided support to the office manager. In May 2001, she was promoted to a Clerk 2 for exceptional customer service demonstrated through her courteous and professional approach during busy periods of time. In January 2004, Yanira was promoted to Clerk 3. She received both verbal and written praise for her ability to assist visitors with information and directions and her willingness to help. Additionally, she supported procurement card processing and supervised 2 Clerk 1 staff members. In June of 2005, she was reclassified as an administrative assistant 2, and in 2006, she advanced to the role of office manager. Yanira has become a seasoned and highly skilled state parks professional at Benson Rio Grande Valley State Park, making significant contributions to the department and the people of Texas. With 25 years of service, Yanira Lacio.
All right, 1, 2, and 1 more.
Brenda Cooper began her career with the department on December 1st, 1999 as a fisheries technician with Coastal Fisheries collecting samples in Galveston Bay. A few years later, she accepted a job as the first TPWD aquatic education specialist in the greater Houston area, where she spent 5 years sharing her love of fishing with families through the TPWD Angler Education Program while building a strong volunteer base. In 2007, she became the assistant superintendent at Goliad State Park and Historic Site, and in 2009 was promoted to the park superintendent position. At Goliad, Brenda led the team in caring for the complex Civilian Conservation Corps National Registered District, the Zaragoza Birthplace State Historic Site, and Mission Rosario State Historic Site. The site garnered numerous accolades under her management and stewardship. Highlights include the addition of 88 acres of pristine habitat along the San Antonio River, updates to exhibits in the Museum of the Mission Espiritu Santo, and the General Zaragoza Birthplace, and opening of the new El Camino Real Visitor Center. In January of 2022, Brenda became the superintendent of Caddo Lake State Park, where she continues to steward the unique natural resources of Caddo and the cultural resources of this special park. With 25 years of service, Brenda Cooper.
Here we go. 1, 2, and 1 more.
Jennifer Weaver began her career with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department at the Game Warden Academy in January of 2005. After graduation from this 51st Game Warden Academy, she was stationed in Gray County, where she patrolled East Texas for 3 years. In 2008, she transferred to Harris County, and in 2016, she transferred to Galveston County. And in 2018, she was promoted to the Region 4 as lieutenant and worked in the North Houston office before promoting to captain in Region 4 District 3. In 2003, she transferred to Special Operations Captain and currently works in the Marine Theft Unit with 6 sergeant investigators focusing on marine theft and recoveries. Jennifer graduated from the National Academy of Federal Bureau of Investigators Class 291 and was recently became a certified Marine investigator. With 20 years of service, Jennifer Weaver. Chairman, you're going to see a pattern here for a little bit. Dan Waddell began his career with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department as game warden cadet in that same class in 2005. Dan graduated from the Game Warden Academy and was stationed in Terrell County, where he served for 3 years. Dan has also served as game warden in Cameron, Gonzales, and Crockett counties. Dan is currently serving the people of Coke County, where he has been stationed for 4 years. During his tenure, Dan has had the opportunity to serve the people of Texas in numerous places around the state, responding to numerous homeland security and border missions, hurricanes, tornadoes, and wildfires. In 2013, Dan was also involved in the successful search for a lost hiker in Big Bend Ranch State Park. He received a group life-saving award for that event and received another individual award for saving a drowning victim in the Rio Grande River. With 20 years of service, Dan Waddell. Slade Rigby began his career with the department in 2004 at Lake Corpus Christi State Park. In 2005, Slade transferred to Garner State Park as a Ranger 2 and was promoted to a Ranger 3 shortly after arriving at Garner. In 2008, after Hurricane Ike, Slade was promoted to the title of Lead Operations Ranger at Galveston Island State Park. He was part of the team that rebuilt at Galveston Island State Park and received the Outstanding Team at the Employee Recognitions Award program. After Galveston Island State Park was back and open to the public, he wanted to go home to the Texas Hill Country and was able to get the utility plant operator job at Lost Maples State Park. And from there, Slade went back to Garner State Park as their lead ranger. Slade has served many parks, but after a couple of months, he decided retirement was not for him. And so he applied at Davis Mountain State Park, Indian Lodge State Park, and is currently the complex lead ranger. With 20 years of service to the department and the state, Slade Rigby. David Nieto began his career with the department in that Game Warden Training Academy in January of 2005. His first duty station was in Willacy County upon graduation. David was also stationed in Jim Wills County and Wilson counties. In 2016, he was promoted to captain for the Laredo District, and in 2019, David transferred to the captain in the San Antonio District. In February of 2023, David completed a 9-week management training program at the Bill Blackwood Law Enforcement Management Institute of Texas, graduating from their Leadership Command College, class of '93, which focuses on law enforcement leadership development. With 20 years of service, David Nieto. Chairman, this next one is questionable, but we're going to push through. Stormy King began his career with Texas Parks and Wildlife Department at the Game Warden Academy with that same class in January of 2005. Upon graduation, he was stationed in the brush country of Jim Wells County, getting closer to home. In 2014, he promoted to Sergeant Investigator in the Special Investigations Unit and made the move to Austin. After 5 years in that role, Stormy made the questionable decision to move to headquarters. In 2019, he was promoted to Assistant Commander of Wildlife Enforcement, where he handled a variety of assignments along with wildlife calls from the Executive Office on a daily basis, from "leave the fawn alone, its mom will come back to get it," or "where do I take this bird with the hurt wing?" Stormy has met a new group of faces across multiple divisions and is proud to call them his friends. Throughout his career, Stormy's most persistent goal has been to make himself an asset to his fellow game wardens and other colleagues within our agency in pursuit of our mission in conservation. At the beginning of 2025, he transitioned to a new role in the Law Enforcement Division, in which he will continue to assist his fellow colleagues here at headquarters for the foreseeable future. With 20 years of service, Stormy King. Jamie Creasy began her career with the department as an intern in the summer of 2004. Realizing quickly that Texas State Parks was home, she hired on permanently in the spring of 2005 as interpreter and state park police officer for the Lost Pines Park Complex. Within a couple of years, she followed her dream of serving as a park superintendent at Lake Somerville State Park Complex and then back to the Lost Pines State Park Complex. During her tenure at Bastrop and Busher, she had the professional honor of working to lead the Lost Pines through fires and floods and the intensive restoration of both the ecosystem and the parks afterwards. Jamie currently serves as the regional director for 20 Texas Hill Country Parks and enjoys supporting her team in serving 2.5 million visitors annually and stewarding Texas' most beautiful places. Jamie has been honored to serve state parks for the past 20 years and is thankful to her husband, Greg, who is the State Parks Natural Resources Program Director, and their daughter, Emma, for sharing this journey with her. With 20 years of service, Jamie Creasy.
Good job. No, I'll do it this time. Good. All right, here we go. On three. One more.
Sergio Balzaldua began his career with the department in January 2005 with that same cadet class. He graduated from the academy in July and was assigned to Dallas County as his first duty station. He remained in Dallas for 14 years. In November 2018, he promoted to Lieutenant of Special Operations and Storm Team Lead for 5 years. Sergio has then transferred to his current role as Lieutenant of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. With 20 years of service, Sergio Balzaldua.
Here we go. 1, 2.
Gilbert Sonny Alanis began his career with the department in that same class in January of 2005. He graduated and was stationed in Austin County and was named Austin County Officer of the Year in 2007. In April 2014, he transferred to Bastrop County and has been there since. Aside from his role of enforcing Texas Parks and Wildlife regulations, he has experience being part of the Game Warden Search and Rescue Team, Boat Accident Reconstruction and Mapping Team, and has been part of the Protection Detail. In addition to the Executive Director of the department running up to him as he's docking his boat at a local lake. With 20 years of service, Sonny Alanis.
Just about, sir. Just a little bit right there. Perfect. On 3. 1, 2. One more.
Chairman, that concludes my presentation.
All right. Thank you, David. 259 years of service for all these fine men and women. Let's give them a hand one more time. There was something in the water in 2005, I think, that what an outstanding class. But, you know, it strikes me as David was walking through the descriptions of which each employee does, it just struck me that, you know, we've all got our job to do within the department, and everyone is different, from archaeologists to park rangers. But what you hear is just the passion and the desire and the buy-in and the loyalty that all of you have out there. So I cannot thank you enough, because this department does not run without impassioned people that really want to make this a better organization every day. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. All right. Before we disperse, I'd like to, in the audience, we have a Dr. Jim Cathy and Gabrielle Sosa. Would you guys stand? There you are. From Texas A&M. They're here today with 9 students with a new program within the Department of Rangeland, Wildlife, and Fisheries Management called 4+1, whereby a student can get a bachelor's and a master's degree in 5 years. Let's recognize them, and students, please stand. Where are you? And so it will be undergrad and a graduate degree? And what is the title of those undergrad and grad degrees?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. They'll earn a master's degree, master's in wildlife science or range science.
And are you under College of Agriculture?
Yes, sir. We're in the College of Agriculture, and within the department that you mentioned, we really like the hands-on working with land stewards. And these folks will be working in the policy arena once they graduate.
Great. Okay, students, thank you. And this is how the state of Texas works with game and wildlife and fisheries. And so, hope you learned a little bit today. So, thank you guys for coming. And with that, anyone that would like to exit before the remainder of our meeting here, you should do so now. So, thank you all for coming.
Hang in there.
They're going to do it real quick. And so it's that he knows, but there was a
Made those on
All right, James, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, action item number 1, rule review, recommended adoption of proposed changes and completion of rule review, Chapter 57, Fisheries, Chapter 58, Oyster, Shrimp, and Finfish. Mr. James Murphy.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. I'm James Murphy, General Counsel to the Department and the Commission. Today I'm going to present on the final iteration of our every 4-year rule review process. This is the adoption of proposed changes to Chapters 57 and 58 and completion of the rule review for this cycle. So just as a little bit of a refresher, every 4 years, the department and other state agencies are required to review all of our rules to determine whether the reason for initially adopting the rule continues to exist. Following the review, we must re-adopt the rules, adopt them with changes, or repeal those rules. And so we group that into 3 different batches, and we here on the 3rd and final group. That consists of Chapters 56, 57, 58, and 65. However, we only have changes to propose to Chapters 57 and 58 today. So the first one is in section 57.156. This is just a reference to a publication that did not have a definition in it. We're just striking that reference to the American Fisheries Society publication. The definition of mussel remains unchanged. The next one is in section 57.252. This is a reference that's in statute that we will be including in the rule related to introduction of fish, shellfish, and aquatic plants in the public water. That permit requirement is sometimes helpful to put into our rules just for organizational and public and for public clarity, so they know all of the requirements that apply to them. The next section is under 57.253. This is a deletion of an outdated reference to a Texas Department of Agriculture aquaculture license, which no longer exists as of some legislation in 2021. The next one is on section 58.21. This is deletion of 2 restoration of oyster closures. Those restoration periods have completed. They are now reopened, and we will be reopening, and so we are going to remove these references. These expired back in November. The next is just some typo corrections in section 58.164. And so now that we are complete, I recommend that the Commission do the following. The first is re-adopt all remaining unchanged rules in Title 31 Texas Administrative Code Part 2 as it applies to Parks and Wildlife Department, and authorize staff to publish a notice of adopted rule review in the Texas Register. 18 total comments, all in agreement, 9 on Chapter 57, 9 on Chapter 58. And I have 2 motions today that staff recommends. I'll read them rather quickly into the record. First motion, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts amendments to Title 31 Texas Administrative Code, Section 57.156 and Sections 57.252 to 57253 concerning fisheries, Section 58.21 concerning taking or attempting to take oysters from public oyster beds, general rules, Section 58.164 concerning shrimping inside waters, commercial bait shrimping, as listed in Exhibits A and B, with changes as necessary to the proposed text as published in the February 21st, 2025 issue of the Texas Register. And then motion 2, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts the completed rule review of Title 31 Texas Administrative Code Part 2 as published in the June 14th, 2024 issue of the Texas Register, the September 6th, 2024 issue of the Texas Register, and November 29th, 2024 issue of the Texas Register, finding that the original reasons for adopting the rules continue to exist as required by Government Code Section 2001.039, and authorizes the publication of a notice of adopted rule review to that effect in the Texas Register. And with that, Chairman, I'm available for questions, and thank you for your time.
Great, thank you. Any questions by the Commission? And Dee, do we have anyone that has signed up to speak?
No, sir.
We do not? Okay. If no questions, then I'll roll right into the motions for approval. Is there a motion for number 1, approval?
Foster, I'll move.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Is there a motion for the second approval that James just presented?
Able, so moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thanks to you, Mr. Murphy. Action item number 2, digital licensing and tagging requirements, recommended adoption of proposed changes. Mr. Chris Cerny, please make your presentation.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for your time today. For the record, my name is Chris Cerny, Business Analyst for the Wildlife Division. Today, I will be seeking adoption of proposed changes to regulations intended to provide fully digital license options for all recreational hunting, fishing, and combination license types, starting with the next license year, 2025 and 2026. To provide context for this request, I'd like to start with a brief review of the digital license and tagging program. Fully digital licenses, including digital tags, were authorized by House Bill 3081 during the 2021 legislative session and became available to customers for the 2022 and 23 license year. During that pilot year, only resident super combo, senior super combo, and lifetime combo license tags were offered with a fully digital option through online purchase only. More than 80,000 digital licenses were sold in that first season, which accounted for approximately 14% of the total sales volume for those respective license types. Due to the popularity of the digital option in the pilot year, along with input received from customers, staff sought and received Commission approval to expand the available digital offerings to include the youth hunting license, lifetime hunting and fishing license tags, and exempt angler tags for the 2023 and 24 license year. Growth in sales for the existing combo license types and strong sales for the new offerings led to more than 123,000 digital licenses sold, which equates to about 17% of the total sales volume for those respective license types for that year. For the 2024 and 25 license year that is currently underway, the available digital offerings were updated to include the addition of the new spotted sea trout tag. Additionally, the mobile app used for digital tagging was completely rebranded in time for the start of this season and is now known as the Texas Hunt and Fish app. Along with the rebranding, significant enhancements were delivered to the mobile platform to improve the user experience. With the license year only partially complete, more than 148,000 digital licenses have been sold to date, accounting for approximately 21% of total sales volume and more than 60% of online sales for those license types. The strong growth in digital sales over the past several years indicates that the digital program is popular with customers and supports the goal of expanding the digital options to additional license types. Digital tag execution itself is a straightforward process with the basic steps outlined on your screen. Customers are expected to download the Texas Hunt and Fish mobile app prior to heading to the field and add their license account, which will then load their digital tags. Upon harvest, a digital tag must be executed via the Texas Hunt and Fish mobile app, which can be done regardless of data service availability. Once the digital tag is executed, deer and turkey must have a handwritten document attached to the carcass that includes appropriate detail as shown in the photos on your screen. Oversized red drum and trout are not required to have any documentation attached. Digital tag execution does satisfy mandatory reporting requirements where those are applicable. Moving forward, these existing standards for how to execute a digital tag will remain the same. I want to clarify this because amendments to sections of Texas Administrative Code that deal with tagging requirements are included in this rule package. However, the proposed changes simply ensure consistent application of these existing standards to the expanded list of digital license offerings. It is important to note that nothing in this rule package changes what digital license holders are required to do to satisfy license display and tagging requirements. Given the continued growth and popularity of digital offerings and the stability of the systems that support the processes, staff seek adoption of proposed amendments that will provide digital options for all recreational hunting, fishing, and combination license types beginning with the next license year in 2025-26. Importantly, the proposed changes will provide digital options for non-resident customers who have not yet been able to take advantage of digital offerings that are available only to resident license holders at this time. All told, 56 recreational hunting, fishing, and combination licenses, along with relevant endorsements, tags, and permit offerings, would be made available to customers with a fully digital option if these amendments are adopted. As a final point of clarification, while my presentation has focused on the digital tagging process as a whole, this presentation is only seeking adoption of changes proposed to Chapter 53 of Texas Administrative Code concerning license issuance procedures. Relevant changes to other sections of Texas Administrative Code that specify how harvested game animals, game birds, and game fish must be digitally tagged, and which license items can be used for this option are also included in the statewide hunting and fishing proclamations as listed on your screen. These changes will be referenced again by my colleagues later today when they present on other proposed amendments to those sections of the regulations that are also proposed for adoption. The digital license and tagging rules function across these 3 chapters of Texas Administrative Code as a cohesive package that establishes which licenses and tags are available digitally and how those products must be applied in the field. As stated previously, the digital tag rule amendments presented by myself and my colleagues today do not change anything regarding how digital tagging for license display is accomplished. They simply expand the list of license offerings that have a fully digital option and align relevant sections of code that outline the digital tagging requirements. As of this morning, we actually now have 70 people that have provided feedback on this proposal, remaining at 45% in agreement and 55% disagreeing either completely or on specific items. The comments received in disagreement can generally be grouped into 4 primary areas of concern listed on your screen. The majority of concern expressed in comments is that license holders don't want digital options to replace paper license availability, and I do want to assure the Commission and the public that paper licenses will remain available for all of these license types. This proposal is simply creating a digital option for those same licenses. Other commenters expressed concerns about requirements for paper versus digital licenses. Comments included general confusion from both customers and license agents about digital versus paper license processes, as well as disagreement with the need for a physical document to be added to deer and turkey harvest upon completion of a digital tag. Several commenters also mentioned concerns with the use of electronic devices in general in the field, such as either no cell service, dead batteries, phones breaking, being dropped, lost, etc. And a few commenters stated that the app itself needs improvement. Finally, a few commenters brought up concerns with government overreach and tracking through cell phone data, etc. All other comments were not germane to the proposal. With that, staff recommends that Commission adopts amendments to Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 53, as detailed on your screen, with changes as necessary to the proposed text as published in the February 21st, 2025 issue of the Texas Register. This concludes my presentation, and I appreciate your time today, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Great. Any questions? Art, do we have a motion? Do not.
You just need to ask for something to move.
So someone to move to accept the recommendation? All right, so do I have a motion to accept Mr. Cerny's recommendation?
Patton moves to approve.
Is there a second?
Rolling second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Action item number 3, 2025-2026 statewide recreational and commercial fishing proclamation, recommended adoption of proposed changes. Mr. Brian Bartram, please make your presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, for the record, my name is Brian Bartram with Coastal Fisheries, and I'll be presenting the statewide recreational and commercial fishing proclamation for your consideration today. There are no proposals for inland fisheries regulations, so we'll move forward with the proposals for coastal fisheries. As you saw in November and January, staff are proposing to change the commercial minimum length limit in Texas state waters for greater amberjack from 34 inches total length to 40 inches total length. Currently, the minimum length in federal waters is 36 inches fork length. 40 inches total length is roughly the equivalent of 36 inches fork length. We have chosen to maintain the use of total length for consistency of fish measurement across all species. And just to define the difference between the two measurements, total length is measured from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, whereas fork length is measured from the tip of the snout to the fork of the tail, as you can see there on the graphic. And quickly, I just wanted to clarify on measuring technique. Commissioner Abel, my apologies, I misunderstood your question yesterday. So for fork length, you close the mouth and measure from the snout to the fork of the tail as it lays. And for total length, yes, anglers should close the mouth and squeeze the tail together or turn the tail to obtain maximum total length. So the purpose of this change is to match the size regulations in federal waters, as this promotes ease of enforcement and should also promote compliance amongst participants in the commercial fishery. Length limits that closely match between state and federal waters should also reduce confusion. And I'd just like to emphasize again that this next couple slides I'll be talking about, these tags are already in place and that the proposed changes are strictly an administrative transfer. Amendments related to digital tagging requirements for oversized red drum and spotted sea trout are also included in the statewide fishing proclamation, and these amendments work in conjunction with proposed changes presented earlier in action item number 2 related to digital license and tagging requirements, and simply clarify the requirements when digitally tagging harvested game fish. So following the March 2024 commission meeting in which a tag system for oversized spotted sea trout was approved, the rule was adopted as a temporary interim provision in Texas Administrative Code Chapter 57, 985, as a standalone section to avoid conflict with other proposed rulemaking. The proposed item will move the rule to 57, 981 concerning bag, possession, and link limits where it properly belongs in the Administrative Code. Similarly, this proposed item will move the language concerning the digital exempt angler tag, another digital product, and will align it with other recreational hunting and fishing license options, such as licenses, stamp endorsements, tags, and selected permits, also available as digital products. So these proposals have been made available for public comment and feedback through our website, and the majority of the feedback has been in support of the proposals, with another significant percentage simply taking a neutral stance. As of 8 o'clock this morning, there were only 19 commenters that had submitted feedback, with the highest any proposal sitting at 16%. And I want to point out that both the Coastal Resources Advisory Committee and the Coastal Conservation Association have voiced their support of these proposals. Of those that disagreed with the proposals, reasons included keeping the commercial minimum size for greater amberjack at 36 inches total length, wishing for tags to remain physical, one suggestion that greater amberjack should only be open to recreational harvest, another that federal regulation should be adjusted to match ours, and finally that changes to the spotted sea trout tag should take place in license year 26, which will be the case if the proposals are adopted. So today, we are recommending that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts amendments to 31 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 57, as described on the screen, concerning the statewide recreational and commercial fishing proclamation, with changes as necessary to the proposed text as published in the February 21st, 2025 issue of the Texas Register. With the approval of the Commission, these changes would take effect September 1st of 2025.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Do I have a motion for approval?
Able, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see. Action item number 4, 2025-2026 statewide hunting and migratory game bird proclamation. Recommended adoption of proposed changes. Mr. Sean Oldenburger.
All right, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Sean Oldenburger. I'm the Small Game Program Director in the Wildlife Division. Today's staff will be recommending adoption of proposed changes to the statewide hunting and migratory game bird proclamations for the 25-26 hunting seasons. First, the migratory game bird proclamation. These are the proposed changes for this next hunting season. And once again, these have been unanimously supported by the Migratory Game Bird Advisory Committee. As we discussed yesterday, there has been a change in the harvest strategy for northern pintails for this upcoming season that was approved by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and all flyway councils. That does allow a maximum bag of 3 birds per day. With regards to this last year's status of northern pintails, it does allow for 3 birds in the daily bag limit. Therefore, staff are recommending 3 birds in the bag limit for all duck zones in Texas for the next hunting season. When we look at public comment, as of 5 p.m. yesterday, we did receive 275 responses. 88% were completely agreed with this proposal, with 8% disagree and 4% disagree specifically. Reasons for disagreement were reduce days or bag limit instead, increase the daily bag limit to 2 instead of 3, and the strategy is flawed, and it'll increase hunting pressure, especially on the Gulf Coast. Moving forward with another federal framework change, we presented this yesterday. As you can see there in that red bar, the status of blue-winged teal in the breeding population was below the metric where we can have a 16-day early teal season. Thus, we need to go to a 9-day teal season for this next hunting season to follow federal frameworks. With regards to public comment on this, we'd received 227 responses, 50% agreement in agreement, 38% disagree completely, and 5% disagree specifically. With the reasons for disagreement, the reducing daily bag limits instead, move the dates back a week earlier in September, teal leave before the season starts, reduce hunting opportunity, and they disagreed with the methodology in the harvest strategy. With regards to that next changes, it is a result of that early teal season change in federal frameworks that does allow us a little bit more opportunity in various places, so we're going to scatter those days around. This one is the High Plain Mallard Management Unit, where we already go well above our maximum days we can allow when it's 107 days underneath the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. So basically, they're allowed 88 days there, and with a 16-day teal season and youth seasons, we get well above that. So staff are proposing to extend the regular season length by 7 days by adding that 7 days to the beginning of the season. We'll take advantage of those early migrants like blue-winged teal and northern pintails. On public comment on this proposed changes, as of yesterday, we received 241 responses, 92% agreed completely, 8% disagreed, and basically a basis for disagreement was reduced days instead. Rail and gallinule seasons, once again, we have had these days during early teal season. Due to that reduction from 16 to 9 days, we do have 7 more days that we can move. We're going to move those days to the back end during duck season. So that is the staff proposal in front of you. We received 128 comments as of yesterday, 84% agreed completely, and 16% disagreed. Once again, with falconry seasons, we're allowed a little bit more opportunity, especially in the north and south zone areas where we don't take advantage of those 107 days for take exposure days on ducks. So we're recommending to propose additional falconry seasons where we can. With regards to yesterday's public comment, we received 123 responses, 91% agreed completely, and 11 disagreed completely, and 0% disagreed specifically. Moving on to the special white-winged dove area proposal, we're proposing to reduce the special white-winged dove area season from 6 to 5 days. As we mentioned yesterday, a lot of people do travel to the South Zone to hunt these special days. With regards to that, we just didn't feel it necessary to just have 1 day on Labor Day available. And obviously, the regular season does open early as possible on the 14th as the staff proposal. So reducing from 6 to 5 days, and so have those days available on 5th, 6th, 7th, and the 12th and 13th. We received 249 responses, 58% agree completely, 40% disagree completely, and 2% disagree specifically. The reasons for disagreement, reduce hunting opportunity, change season to September 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 12th, 13th instead, and would rather have Saturday, Sunday than Friday, Saturday available to them. We received 207 responses through public comment, 190 agreed completely, or 92%, 7% disagreed completely, and 1% disagreed specifically. Oh, my apologies on that. We received, sorry, there's a missing slide there. My apologies. For public comment on that one, received very similar amounts. It was in agreement. We'll go through that here in a little bit. With regards to calendar progression, with regards to seasons, we don't have staff proposals in front of you for a change. Those seasons would just change with the calendar progression or standardized change. With regards to those responses, we received 207 and 92% agreed specifically. With regards to the rest of the Migratory Game Bird Proclamation, we received 255 responses and 90% agreed specifically. The reasons for disagreement were geese, the season should run later in February, light goose season should start later, add the conservation order back, and ducks, why is teal season shorter, and extend into February. Moving on to statewide hunting proclamation proposed changes, as you see in front of us. The top 3, Upland Game Bird Advisory Committee did support unanimously, and we'll get into quail season here in the next couple slides. With regards to wild turkeys in Lubbock County, we added Lubbock County to the wild turkey North Zone season is the proposal in front of you. The fall and spring season would occur, and we would have 4 birds in the annual bag limit. As you can see on the map here, we do have some occupancy of wild turkeys, especially the Rio Grandes in that county on the eastern side. So therefore, biologically, we don't see a reason not to allow hunting opportunity for wild turkeys during that hunting season in Lubbock County. We received 237 responses, 225 agreed completely, with 5% disagreeing. Moving on to another proposal, last year we did change some season dates along the I-35 corridor. Unfortunately, we erroneously published something that said that where that line is geographically, we said I-35. Obviously, the proposal was to I-35 to I-35 East, and so we're proposing this clarification for this next hunting season to make sure it's clear for our hunters. With regards to public comment on this change, we received 211 responses, and 97 agreed specifically, 2% disagreed completely, and 1% disagreed specifically. Moving on and continuing with Mr. Chris Cerny's presentation with regards to statewide hunting proclamation and digital tagging requirements, with amendments to clarify digital tagging requirements for wild turkey, white-tailed deer, and mule deer when those opportunities do occur during the season. We received 286 responses, 82% agreed completely, 15% disagreed completely, and 3% disagreed specifically. The reasons and basis for disagreement were very similar to the ones that Mr. Chris Cerny stated earlier. There was a lot of confusion with regards to public comment on this. We're going to continue paper and digital options for our hunters moving forward. So that's where the primary confusion and disagreement occurred. Moving on to the statewide hunting proclamation, the last one before I send it over to Mr. Sean Gray. End quail season of last day of February. And so obviously that was the staff proposal that was put in public comment just for your recall of that. However, based on direction from the commission yesterday, we're recommending to change the quail hunting season structure to November 1st to last day in February, which is a logical outgrowth of the proposal that was published in the Texas Register. With regards to public comment on the original proposal, we received 373 responses, 91% agreed completely, and 9% disagreed. The basis for disagreement or longer season would hurt the population. Wait a few years to make the change and allow populations to grow, and opening day should be November 1st, which is the staff proposal in front of you today. So with that, I'll take any questions before we turn it over to Mr. Sean Gray to talk about proposed changes in mule deer hunting regulations.
Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, my name's Sean Gray, and I'm the Mule Deer and Program Leader. And as Sean Oldenburger mentioned, we're hoping y'all are going to adopt our proposed hunting regulation changes. So I shared this map with you yesterday in pretty good detail that illustrates our current mule deer seasons in the state. This morning, I just want to highlight the fact that our current statewide special archery season starts the Saturday closest to September 30th and runs for 35 consecutive days. Staff have received several requests over the last few years to increase the length of the special archery season and to consolidate the Managed Lands Deer Program, or MLDP, archery only and all weapons seasons for mule deer. Again, the current special archery season is 35 days, and staff proposed to extend the Panhandle archery season from 35 to 56 consecutive days, and the Trans-Pecos season from 35 to 62 days. These archery season extensions would end the day before each region's general season starts. Because the Trans-Pecos general season starts 6 days after the Panhandle, the Trans-Pecos archery season extension would be 6 days longer than the Panhandle. Staff believe these proposed archery season changes will not have any negative biological impacts to our mule deer populations and will provide additional hunter opportunity. The present mule deer MLDP seasons are an archery season that starts the Saturday closest to September 30th for 35 consecutive days, and an any lawful means season that starts the first Saturday in November and runs through the last Sunday in January. Another proposed regulation change is to consolidate both mule deer MLDP seasons to allow for any lawful means from the Saturday closest to September 30th to the last Sunday in January. Again, staff believe these proposed mule deer MLDP changes will not have any negative biological impacts to mule deer populations. Staff have received 385 responses as of 5 p.m. yesterday, with 89% of respondents who agree completely and 11% who disagree in whole or in part with the mule deer archery season extension proposal. In addition, staff have obtained positive feedback from an opinion survey that we conducted last fall and full support from the Mule Deer Advisory Committee and the Texas Wildlife Association's Big Game Committee. Reasons for disagreement with this proposal included the mule deer population can't support extending mule deer archery season. Some prefer a later archery season, and other reasons that were not germane to the proposal. Staff received 335 responses as of 5 p.m. yesterday, with 83% of respondents who agreed completely and 17% who disagree in whole or in part with consolidating mule deer MLDP season's proposal. And again, similar to our mule deer archery season extension, staff obtained positive feedback from the opinion survey we did last fall and full support from the Mule Deer Advisory Committee and the Texas Wildlife Association's Big Game Committee. Reasons for disagreement with this proposal included mule deer density is too low to support this. Home ranges of mule deer exceed the property boundary of the MLDP participants, and it's therefore unfair to the neighbors not participating in the MLDP program, and other reasons that were not germane to the proposal. As such, staff recommends that the commission adopt the following motion. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts amendments to 31 Texas Administrative Code 65.67 to 65.8, 65.10, 65.29, 65.42, 65.62, and 65.64 concerning the statewide hunting proclamation, and 31 Texas Administrative Code 65.314 through 65.320 concerning the migratory game bird proclamation as listed in Exhibits A through B, with changes as necessary to proposed text as published in the February 21st, 2025 issue of the Texas Register. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. Any questions? I believe we have two to speak that are signed up. First is Matt Wagner of Texas Chapter of the Wildlife Society.
Greetings, Chairman Hildebrand and Commission members. I'm Matt Wagner, Executive Director of the Texas Chapter of the Wildlife Society. The Texas Chapter supports this proposal package, and we thank the staff for their hard work in developing hunting and fishing regulations for the upcoming season. We especially appreciate the use of advisory committees to engage stakeholders on the front end of any regulation proposal. Although requiring more effort to reach consensus from diverse viewpoints, the end result is a product that endures over time. In fact, this is true with the whole agency, the most user-friendly agency of its kind in the nation. Contrary to what we've heard from some state leaders, the integrity and transparency of this agency is intact, and we thank the Commission for your leadership in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Andrew Earl, also of Texas Wildlife Association.
Good morning, Chairman Hildebrand, Commissioners, Director Yoskowitz. For the record, my name is Andrew Earl. I serve as the Director of Conservation for the Texas Wildlife Association. TWA is a statewide membership organization of over 7,500 members that own, manage, and steward upward of 35 million acres of working lands and habitats throughout the state. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share TWA's support for the adoption of proposed changes to the statewide hunting and migratory game bird proclamations this morning. Upon review, TWA found unanimous support for the mule deer special archery season extension and MLDP season consolidation among our Big Game Committee. The organization is also supportive of the quail hunting season adjustment, allowing hunting from November 1st through the end of February. We appreciate the diligent work of this commission and staff to create more hunting opportunity for Texas hunters by simplifying and aligning seasons while ensuring the continued health and sustainability of our native game populations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. Any other questions by the commissioners? If not, do we have a motion for approval? Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Action item number 5, grant of utility easement, Bandera County, approximately 21.7 acres at Hill Country State Natural Area. Mr. David.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, I'm Stan David. I'm with the Land Conservation Program. This item will be in regard to a grant of utility easement, electrical easement in Bandera County, approximately 21.7 acres at the Hill Country State Natural Area. Red star represents Bandera County. This map is more zoomed in on the Hill Country SNA. The Hill Country SNA consists of approximately 5,370 acres in Bandera County. The SNA is known for its horseback riding trails, scenic rocky vistas, grasslands, and canyons. The Bandera Electric Cooperative is seeking a defined utility easement at the Hill Country SNA to establish for long-term access, maintenance, and upgrades as needed on existing infrastructure that crosses the SNA. And this easement also feeds our buildings that are currently there, and part of the upgrade is to help our facility. BEC has power lines and poles that cross portions of the SNA. Their placement on the SNA predates Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's acquisition of the SNA, which resulted in there being no documented easement in place. TPWD staff would like to establish a defined easement with terms and conditions. The easement would be approximately 47,300 feet in length and approximately 20 feet wide for all utility lines that BEC operates at the Hill Country SNA. The red outline is the outline of the SNA. The yellow is the easement that exists and where they're going to do upgrades and do maintenance. And we're going to have a surface use agreement in place to control what kind of actions they can do in construction on the SNA. We received 4 responses, 3 agree, 1 disagree. The disagree is they don't want any damage done to the SNA, and that's what our surface use agreement is in place to take care of. Staff recommends that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopt the following motion. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts the resolution attached as Exhibit A. I'd be happy to answer any questions now if you have.
Any questions for Mr. David? I don't believe we have anyone signed up. So with that, is there a motion for approval?
I'll move. Foster.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Action item number 6, grant of pipeline easement, Jefferson County, approximately 10 acres at J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area. Dr. Gann, please make your presentation.
Good morning, Commission, Chairman. My name is Whitney Gann with the Wildlife Division. I'm the WMA Facilities Coordinator. And today I'm going to present a proposal for a pipeline easement in Jefferson County that will cross the J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area. Red star indicates the location of Jefferson County in the southeastern portion of Texas along the coast. Zoomed in, you can see that the J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area is situated just southwest of Port Arthur proper. The J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area consists of approximately 25,500 acres of coastal marsh and open water habitat within the Texas Chenier Plain. The WMA is divided into 3 units, the Hildebrandt, Big Hill, and Salt Bayou units. The WMA is adjacent to 1 existing LNG export facility, and another is currently under construction. Sabine Crossing LLC is requesting an easement of 50 feet in width. It'll cross the WMA's Big Hill unit from their milepost 42.5 to 44 along the proposed pipeline route. The proposed pipeline will be completed by 2 horizontal directional drills with a shared entry-exit midpoint near the midpoint of the crossing. And we will issue a surface use agreement that'll span the length of construction to dictate use and access. The easement would be approximately 8,900 feet in length and a total of approximately 10 acres. This map illustrates the outline of the J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area. You can see the 3 units defined there, the Hildebrandt, the Big Hill, and the Salt Bayou. And the following map zooms in on the Big Hill unit, and you can see the illustration of the proposed easement crossing in yellow towards the center. We received 7 responses as of this morning, 3 in agreement, 4 disagree. Those that disagree cite an objection to easements on state lands at all. At this time, staff recommends that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopt the following motion. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission adopts the resolution attached as Exhibit A. At this time, I'll take any follow-up questions.
Great. Any questions of Dr. Gann? Okay, thank you. Now, we have 1 individual that signed up to speak, Mrs. Emick. And I'm going to allow you to speak, Mrs. Emick. I suspect it's probably not about a easement on the J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area, but I'm going to allow it, and if you will, maintain your comments for within 3 minutes. So The floor is yours, Mrs. Emick.
Thank you, Chairman Hildebrand,
You're welcome.
Commissioners. All righty, had to put this on my phone. Actually, I'm here, Blue Creek Whitetails, and representing the Texas Deer Coalition. And I'm also here to talk about item number 6, Chairman Hildebrand, which would be the pipeline easement. So I hope and I pray that you realize the power that you all wield, and by your appointment to your seats, the many livelihoods that are affected by your actions and the rules that you all vote on. Natural gas, oil, it's here in Texas. It's a natural resource, correct? Love it. A lot of y'all, I believe, have been very blessed by that sweet Texas resource. What I'm confused about is how this commission and previous commissioners and commissions have used the fruits of those blessings to use Parks and Wildlife for what appears to be personal benefit. With an appointment from our governor, the executive director, and yourselves, at the last commission meeting, felt confident that the majority, when asked, voiced a strong disagreement with rules on natural resource that were presented. That didn't matter. In fact, this commission was so confident you thumbed your nose at several legislators who took the time to reach out to you and their concerns. All that was asked by the representatives was to take a pause, just to assure that all stakeholders across Texas were being treated equally, and at the very least being heard, and give them a time to respond to their constituents, as the rules reeked of prejudice and nonsensical requirements for only one group. Realizing the majority of the stakeholders I'm referring to are in South Texas that rely on this Texas natural resource, we were all ignored. That was very confident, especially to an association. I've come before you since November 2023 with a desire to help to find a mutual and beneficial solution. Chairman Hildebrand, I have, as a representative of the Texas Deer Coalition, a group assembled with connections, with access to those who hold the answers for the protection of this resource. And what's in that pipeline is a natural resource, and those who have the rights to benefit from a Texas natural resource that provide jobs and benefits to communities across the state, well, so does my business. The question I need you to ponder, when does a natural resource or a native species become an opportunity for a business? You know, when does a native species such as my favorite, is the bobwhite quail, when does that become a farmed animal? It's a natural resource, native resource. Everything that you release from Billy the redfish, that was a farmed animal, but you're calling it natural resources. Do you see the discrimination that has been applied with this application of what you consider for one benefit is good for one person and not another? I really appreciate the time to come before you. I actually have some people listening. I know that your hands are tied in a lot of areas. I know it needs to be FDA regulations. I get it. But nobody has come to me when I have tirelessly worked for the benefit of the state that I love and the resources I love. I've got answers for you, and if I can't, I will find them, I'll get them. I won't stop. But, you know, to be ignored and to you owe apologies to a lot of people from the dismissal that, I know you've invested your time, but that's when you chose your seats. You realize your actions affect people. And that's all I have to say. And I mean that from my heart, and I hope y'all do better. Hate to catch your attention like we did, but at least we got the press listening, and whatever it takes to get the job done for what's best for the state, we'll do it. But I have the numbers, and I have the scientific answers. So I wish somebody would step up and give our committee, our association, a seat at the stakeholders table. That's all we're asking, and I think we've earned it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Emick. And I pledge to you that we will continue to incrementally get better at this process. And that's really all you can ask of the commission, is that we, in a iterative, incremental way, we just get better every day. We don't know everything about the issues, and we are working hard to get better clarity on it. So
That's fair.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Emick. All right. Take care. All right. With that, is there a motion for approval?
Able, so moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. And believe it or not, Dr. Yaskowicz, this commission has completed its business, and I declare us adjourned at 10:15 a.m. Thank you. Everyone have a nice day. All right.